So the ZR1 and ZR1X have posted official lap times on the Nürburgring, blistering times, taking the record as the fastest American sports car, dethroning the Mustang GTD. But the biggest thing is, could it have gone faster? A lot of talks say most probably, and that's because the lap times were done by Chevy engineers themselves and not professional racers, or at least racers that are intimately familiar with that famed Nürburgring track, which can make a bit of a difference. But how much of a difference is there? So we're going to talk about that in today's news video, along with talking about the next giveaway of the channel, which is live. You can enter it for free or gain extra entries via thanks donations for cool prizes that I'll tell you all about. So let's get into it in today's video. So thanks again for tuning in, guys, where we talk Corvette news, do product review videos, how to install videos, and the occasional car driving car show all around Corvettes. My name is Carlos, and if you like what you hear and you haven't subscribed to the channel already, I invite you to join in on the community, join in on the discussions, and just share this ride with me. Okay, so getting into this week's news videos, we are still living off the high from last week and the ZR1 and ZR1X posting insane lap times at the Nürburgring and being crowned the king of American supercars, and also dethroning the Mustang GTD in the process. So quick cool side note, I did see a fun little response from the people at Ford saying basically it's game on. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that means from a future Chevy versus Ford kind of competition for fastest car. Anyways, getting back to the news video, if you haven't heard about these lap times, GM has sent a few months back a few C8 Corvettes to the Nürburgring racetrack for official race times, or lap time specifically. They sent a C8 Z06, C8 ZR1, and a C8 ZR1X and posted 3 lap times with that. With the Z06 having a lap time of 7 minutes 11.826 seconds, the ZR1 having a lap time of 6 minutes 50.763 seconds, and then the ZR1X breaking under that mark at 6 minutes 49.275 seconds. Both versions beating out the Mustang GTD, which sat around 6 minutes 52 seconds, so considerably faster, all with not even a professional race car driver but Chevy's own internal engineers. A feat, honestly, that really is a big deal. A lot of other car brands putting official times, hell, I believe the top 10 of that list all use professional race car drivers that knew that track intimately, except for Chevy. And I do want to point out that these guys that put the lap times in, they do know the car pretty darn well, and they know how to push the car. They're by no means any slouches. But there is something to say that even just someone who's at minimum the same kind of driving caliber as these engineers simply just knows the ins and outs of that specific track intimately can put down a faster lap time. And if that's the case, how much faster would that look like? And I'm apparently not alone in that mindset, as other famous YouTubers like Misha Sharudin, a person who's famous for his Nürburgring lap times in a bunch of different cars, he put his 2 cents on that matter, and he ended up doing a deep dive of that lap that Chevy did and did a breakdown of the entire lap, mentioning constructive criticism on how Chevy could have indeed made a faster lap time. And each 1/10 of a second here and a 1/4 of a second there, he claims that a professional driver intimately familiar with that racetrack could have gotten about 10 seconds of a faster lap time than the official time Chevy had announced. 10 seconds is like a lifetime when it comes to these kind of numbers. At 10 seconds, that would put the ZR1X at around 6 minute 39 second realm, so like a sub 640s, which is kind of absolutely insane to think about, and it will catapult that car specifically from the number 5 rank it currently sits to a number 2 rank, only losing to the Mercedes AMG 1. Hell, that would put both the ZR1X and the regular ZR1 at the number 2 and number 3 spots. So something that I think just is crazy to even think about. Now, again, I gotta reiterate that even Misha said himself that these Chevy engineers who drove the car are no slouches. They know how to drive the car and drive the car fast. They come from a certain level of racing background and in certain ways are even more intimate with that car than any pro racer would ever be, since they helped develop those cars from scratch. The biggest difference is just track knowledge and understanding where to get the fastest times out of those cars on a specific, in this case, Nürburgring track. And Misha pointed out another factor that should be considered is that for each of the 3 cars, there was a different driver. If you wanted to have a true comparison of the pace of the car should have really just been driven by a single driver. But I can see with the limited time Chevy had at the Nürburgring and the overall humongous logistics that were involved, That's a lot of pressure to apply to just one engineer, let alone all of these teams that got involved. Along with that, when Misha did his deep dive on the ZR1 lap itself, he basically said that there was probably a very high level of conservatism taken by the driver not to, to overdrive the car. Now, they don't want to obviously crash the car, so it doesn't surprise me that they might have held back a little bit, which is still kind of crazy to think about considering how fast that lap was. But I did watch Misha's video and the deep dive, and the biggest feedback that he was giving was just corner speed, which could have been higher in a majority of different corners. But it's not because the car couldn't get it done, but rather the positioning of the car at different corners was not idealized. So it's that level of detail that makes a huge difference, where he was saying as a driver that simply just is more intimate with that track, more knowledgeable of that track, could have made a difference. And I know the GM engineers learned the track via simulators before they even took the cars onto the actual track themselves, but there's something to say of a difference between those simulators and the feel of the track itself. So ultimately, in my opinion, at first, I actually found it kind of hard to believe that there would be about 10 seconds that could be shaved off, at least from what Misha was claiming. But the more and more I watched the video and him breaking down everything, the more I understood adding those tenths of a quarter of a second here and there at these different corners, that stuff does add up. And for me personally, Misha is someone that I actually respect as a track race car driver, especially one that is so intimate with the Nürburgring track. I don't think it necessarily could do 10 seconds, but I could realistically, after seeing everything, see maybe 7 or 8 seconds faster than the ridiculously fast time that they already put around. So ultimately, I do think Chevy kind of missed out on a prime opportunity of not only taking higher ranks in the lap times, but just honestly just demolishing everything under the sun. But what do you guys think? I know some of you have mentioned in the previous news video about how Chevy should have used a pro driver, and some that are just happy how it's sitting. But I am curious, with this added discussion, does that sway your opinion for or against? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to know what you think about it. Okay, so the next piece of news is channel news, and like I mentioned in the beginning part of this video, our next giveaway of the channel is live. And we have two pieces to start off this giveaway. One comes from a longtime sponsor of the channel, and another from a new sponsor actually. So now I'm planning on adding more items to this giveaway like I did for the last one, but for now, these are the cool prizes to keep things, kind of rolling. So from our veteran sponsor, it's coming from Solar Performance, where we're giving away a throttle controller that will work if you have a C6, C7, or C8 Corvette. It's a pretty awesome little piece of tech that not only allows you to customize your throttle input to get rid of some of the laziness you feel in the OEM ramped up setup, but can act as its own throttle kill switch, something of which is recognized by certain insurance companies even as a theft deterrent, which can actually save you a bit of money. Of which, by the way, is something you can always just buy outright if you decide, and you can use my discount code to save yourself a little bit of money. It's an over $200 item, and we are giving it away on the channel. Next item on the giveaway also deals with auto theft and security, and it's the CarLock Discrete Independent GPS system that you can put on your ride that'll give you 24/7 monitoring of your car's location. The kit works with your phone, lets you know if your car has been turned on, bumped into, moved, and you're just not by your car. The app will notify you and log all of the tracking in its cloud system, so that even if a thief notices after stealing your car, who just probably tried to hide it, you'll be able to tell police exactly where it last was. It comes with the module car tag for easy auto arming and disarming when you walk to and from your vehicle, discrete connectors so you can better hide the whole tracker system, and a 1-year subscription to their cloud system. A package deal that sells for $240, and it also is on the giveaway. Again, if you're interested and don't want to wait, you can always just check the links and discount code to save yourself a little bit of money. Now, the important thing is, how do you enter this giveaway? Well, just like last time, you'll be able to enter the giveaway by simply typing in the comments NuHorizon. That will give you one free entry into the giveaway. It's one entry per user per person, and that'll put you in the running. And then just like last time, if you're wanting more chances to win, which made a difference in the last giveaway too, I am having it that every $5 spent through a thanks donation will also give you an extra entry into the giveaway. It makes a big difference and helps not only support the channel, but future future giveaways as well. And currently I will be setting the giveaway deadline to the end of September. So like I said, there's more items I do plan on adding to this giveaway, so stay tuned. If you're not subscribed, I definitely encourage you to join the community, and yeah, we will see you next time. Take care, guys.